Hi, I'm Kara Kendall, Senior Fellow with Pioneer Institute, and I want to tell you about an opportunity that could help thousands of Massachusetts parents who need support now more than ever. Many parents are looking for personalized, student centered options that will help them safely recover from COVID 19 related learning loss and continue the learning for their students. Education savings accounts, which I'm going to tell you about in just a moment, provide parents the funding and flexibility they need to personalize education for their children. Education savings accounts are state based programs that help families pay for certain education expenses from kindergarten through high school. Who pays for ESAs? Well, there are a couple different mechanisms. ESAs may be funded by reallocating the state allocation the student would have received in their district school, or through a tax credit scholarship. Government, in the first case, or a scholarship granting organization makes a deposit into an account that it manages jointly with parents. Parents then use these funds to purchase a range of approved educational goods and services. Commonly approved expenses include private school tuition, including faith based schools, homeschooling expenses, curriculum materials, tutoring, and special educational therapies. 10 states currently offer students education savings accounts: Arizona, Florida, Indiana, Mississippi, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Tennessee, West Virginia, Missouri, and Kentucky. In 2020, tens of thousands of students benefited from these programs, and the number's only growing. This year, West Virginia will open up its ESA to all students in the state. Most of the students that are served by education savings account programs are students with special educational needs or those who come from an economically disadvantaged background. In Massachusetts, after COVID, most district schools were closed for in person learning for over a year. Massachusetts provides fewer opportunities for students to receive an education outside of their assigned district school than most states in the whole nation. It also has some of the starkest achievement gaps in the nation. Gaps in access to high quality schools in the Commonwealth lead to gaps in achievement. The state has two solid options for helping students access the educational opportunities that have been out of reach for too many for far too long. In addition to an ESA, which we could fund with a tax credit, the state could consider a federally funded microgrant. A microgrant funded with federal COVID relief funds would be a great way to use some of the nearly $5.3 billion in federal money that Massachusetts received under the federal, state, and local fiscal recovery fund. The Commonwealth could provide the parents of every economically disadvantaged K 12 public school student in the state with $3,000 to spend on approved educational services and still have 80% of its federal money left. Massachusetts could also provide $1,500 to the parents of every K 12 public school student in the state, regardless of income, and still have nearly $4 billion left. The Commonwealth could also choose a hybrid sliding scale approach, providing economically disadvantaged students with larger scholarships than their peers, but choosing to give every family something. Students would not be able to use this microgrant for private school tuition as they could in a traditional ESA, but they could spend it on tutoring, special educational services and therapies, curriculum and educational supplies, online learning services, including subscriptions to learning platforms, after school enrichment classes such as music and art, educational or enrichment based summer camp, transportation costs associated with microgrant expenses. Tax credit scholarship programs currently exist in 21 states. These programs allow corporations and individuals to make donations to scholarship granting organizations, which then give the money to students to use for private school tuition. In 2021, Missouri and Kentucky broke the mold by creating tax credit funded education savings accounts. This means that scholarship granting organizations can give money to students for use not only on private school tuition, but on a variety of approved educational expenses. A tax credit scholarship ESA is like a 529 savings account. It's a state sanctioned program that uses a tax incentive to match private dollars to private citizens who can use them. To create a tax credit program, the legislature would authorize a state entity, such as the Treasurer's Office or an approved not for profit scholarship granting organization, to accept donations in exchange for a tax credit. A tax credit funded ESA would allow parents to spend funds on a wider range of educational and enrichment goods and services, such as payments for private school tuition. Families who stay in their district school could spend funds on services outside of their school or district. A Massachusetts ESA could focus on low income families. We recommend families with an income equal to 250% of the federal poverty line or below. Using an ESA in this way would allow families with fewer resources to provide their children the same opportunities as higher income families. In each of these two options, state legislators would have to consider student eligibility, allowable services, and mechanisms for program accountability and transparency. But we can do it. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown a light on gaps in access to a quality education, and it's also exacerbated them. It's time for new solutions. The program I outline in my new report are two solid options for helping students and families access opportunities that have been out of reach for far too long. To learn more about these programs and how you can help, visit Pioneer Institute's website and read my new report on education savings accounts in Massachusetts.